So if you're interested to hear how I am going to sell $250,000 of this fragrance in a single day, you are going to love today's video. But before I share with you the secret strategy that I'm going to employ, I want to say, shut the F up. To those of you out there that keep bitching and whining and moaning and telling me how I can only do what I've done because I had a big audience. All right, here's the deal. The other day I posted a video talking about how I did $740,000 worth of Pete and Pedro sales, right? The truth is that I actually broke $760,000 last month. If you missed that video, I'm going to link to it down below. Well, here's the deal. I get so, like, just it's not even a frustration. It's just like, here's the deal. As you can see, I'm a little bit flustered, right? I get so tired of people making excuses to why they can't do whatever, right? You've got to look for a reason why that person did it, why he was successful, and why I can't. Here's the deal. Yes, I have built over the course of 10 years, because that's the thing, Pete and Pedro, and that's one of the things I keep hammering, is that it's not fast, it's a grind. There was nothing sexy. I actually have the sheet right here that basically goes over right here. These are my numbers, right? Year number one, I made $30,000 Pete and Pedro. Year number two, $65,000. Year number three, $268,000. And then it went up to 813, 1.6 million, 2.8 million, 3.7 million, and so on and so forth, all right? But if you think that the only reason I was able to do this was because I had a social media following, you would be 1,000% wrong. Now, in the early days, right? This was back in, what year was that? 2013. 2013, I had an audience, but it wasn't a big audience, right? And that's the other thing I just want you to understand. If you are somebody that is going to start a business, you've got to market it, right? Marketing is part of the equation. And in my opinion, if you aren't starting some type of social media presence, whether or not it's a YouTube channel, whether or not it's social media with Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, like whatever, then you're missing out. That is where people go. That is where people go to learn about products, to find new products, to connect with brands. And even if you don't want to be the face of the video or in front of the camera, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. You can find somebody else to do it for you, all right? You give them a little bit of direction. If I can do it, because here's the thing, I'm not that great in front of the camera. I am better now over the course of the past, when did I start? 2008? I started posting YouTube videos in 2008, when at the time, the only thing online were cat videos and like stupid shit. And then I come on and I start talking about style and grooming and all that. Now, did it help that I was able to have an audience that I could sell things to? Yes, of course. But you can do the same goddamn thing. And that's the thing that just gets me so frustrated. The other reality is that over the course of the past like 5 years, my audience is not the reason why these businesses are growing, including Tiege Hanley, which is going to do over $20 million, right, this year. Pete and Pedro is going to do over $10 million, right? My effectiveness basically stopped in 2019, right? And since then, I had to figure out other mechanisms and methods in order to grow and scale, in order to get these businesses off of my back, because that's one of the things. You've got to understand that when it comes to business, if it is relying on you to be the sales mechanism, if it's relying on you to be the reason why you move anything, you are in a position of great weakness. You've got to figure out and find a way how to basically move the needle and sell shit without you having to actually do it. All right? And there are a ton of different options and methods and mechanisms and levers to pull and knobs to twist in order to do that. And that's one of the things I share in the White Label Empire, and we're talking about in the weeds. If you haven't joined the White Label Empire or have no idea what I'm talking about, yes, I'm going to hawk my cheap, stupid course again, which I read the comments. I see what you're saying. You know, I'm going to link to it down below. You guys are such, not most of you are amazing, but some of you are such assholes. And the thing that like that's one of the things that I made a video about this a few weeks ago, right? When you do anything, whether or not it's good, you could be teaching blind kittens to read. There's always going to be those naysayers. There's always going to be those people, the small-minded losers that would rather poke holes in what you're trying to do or your hustle or whatever it is as opposed to actually looking themselves in the mirror and realizing that they are pathetic losers that will never do anything with their life. If that's you, great. Hey, congratulations. Keep hanging out on your parents' sofa and not doing anything incredible. But if you're actually somebody that wants to change the lives of yourself, not to mention your family, your friends, you can do something incredible. Like I say all the time, is if I can do it, you can do it. Because the truth is, I'm not that smart. I've just learned a lot of things over my 20+ businesses that I've tried and started. And if you think for a second, the only reason why I'm successful is because I have a huge social media following, you would be 1,000% wrong. I was going to be successful regardless of what I did because I refused to take no for an answer. And I'm going to figure it the fuck out, period. And now let me tell you how I'm going to sell $250,000 of this fragrance in a day. That's the goal. And I'm actually going to tell and share with you what I'm doing and how it actually unfolds, because I want to be very transparent with you guys in terms of the numbers, because that's one of the things that I feel is missing. There's a lot of videos, a lot of people online talking about how to do this, how to start businesses, but they don't share really they don't teach you how to make the sausage, right? They're just like, hey, look at this business. It's doing X, Y, and Z. And that is why I keep saying that the White Label Empire is the best thing I ever did, because I am in there sharing the things that I wish I know in order to help you guys basically become millionaires and wildly successful and basically do something incredible. Anyway, here's the deal. Pete and Pedro, as you know, I have some fragrances, right? And the whole goal and premise behind starting a fragrance, because at first I didn't want to do it. I'm like, nobody's going to buy a fragrance from me. Hair products, right? I got amazing hair, good skin, yeah, but fragrance, like what do I know about fragrance? I just know when something smells sexy. I know when I get a ton of compliments, and I love smelling good. And my marketing guy, Mike Levy's like, dude, I think we can do this. I'm like, well, if we're going to do this, here's how I think I can move the needle. Instead of basically trying to be like a fragrance house and build my own standalone brand, which I think is amazing, and I think there's still a lot of opportunity for you guys out there that do want to actually start like a fragrance business, I think there's a lot of opportunity for that out there. Anyway, the deal is, I thought, you know what? If I come out with a fragrance, I want to sell it differently. I don't want to try to say, hey, I created this new amazing fragrance that's better than all these different fragrances, that has notes of tonka bean and, you know, chrysanthemum, testicles. Like, I don't want to be that guy, right? Because I'm not that guy, and I really don't want to learn all that stuff. What I know is what I get compliments on. I know what I love. I know what the spicy senoritas are digging, right? And so I thought, wait a second, if I'm going to do this, why don't I just grab my most favorite, amazing, expensive-ass fragrance and basically not clone it, but be heavily inspired by it. All right, a lot of these fragrance houses out there can basically like match like awesome other fragrances. And even if you think like, oh, but this one's $700 a bottle, it doesn't matter. Typically what you're going to find is that a lot of like the juice or the stuff like inside the bottle, it's fairly inexpensive, right? Now, how to increase that, how to make more money off of that? Well, there are a few ways, right? Increase the perceived value. This is always one. And, you know, develop amazing packaging and make it sexy and basically create mystique around your brand. Me, I'm like, fuck that. I just want to sell a lot of fragrance, right? I am a simple man. When it comes to business, I just want to shut the fuck up and sell shit. That is a t-shirt that I need, right? And I think that a lot of, there's something on my shirt? I got something on my shirt. I think that a lot of businesses need to understand that, right? Nobody cares about your opinion. And you, as a business and entrepreneur, just need to shut up and sell shit, all right? And that's what I do. Anyway, back to the story. So I decided, all right, here's the deal. What I want to do is actually come out with not a clone, but a heavily inspired Creed Aventus fragrance, all right? We're going to call it Rebel. My wife actually named it, and it was a home run. Now, out of the gate, it wasn't, because when we launched it, it smelled awesome, but the projection and the staying power wasn't there. And so basically we ordered 5,000 units, right? And we sold out of that within a month. I crushed it with that. How did I crush it? I'm going to explain that in a second, because I'm attempting to do the same thing with this new fragrance, Icon. I'm also going to share what the inspiration fragrance is of this sexy powerhouse in terms of compliments that we're coming out with in a few months. Anyway, So I thought, all right, I'm gonna get this fragrance, and I got it, and it wasn't strong enough, right? Which brings me to another lesson you gotta understand. If you get it out there into the wild, whatever the product is, whatever the business is, and people start telling you, yo, this isn't good enough, or this needs to change, or I would like it better if X, Y, and Z, you gotta listen to them. A smart entrepreneur always listens to the customer. We did the same thing with our deodorant, right? Our deodorant, our natural deodorant, fresh, sexy. Amazing, but it didn't last long enough. So we went back to the drawing board, but I had to sell through 25,000 units. And I also had to deal with a lawsuit potentially because I called it Super Fresh. I should have just changed the name to Fresh as Fuck or Fresh AF, but I didn't. I just called it Fresh. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. I actually did a video about that. If you guys are interested, I will link to it down below. It's basically, I think it's something about I'm getting sued because I was basically bullied into changing the name. Was I bullied, or did I just make a smart decision because I didn't want to fuck with it in the future? Probably more about that. Anyway, here's the deal. So you got to listen to your customers. And so we were getting feedback from this first batch of, yo, it smells amazing, but it doesn't last as long. And so we went back to the lab and we increased the percentage of the oils and essential stuff that's in there to make it last and project. And then it lasted a long time. We came out with the second version and we let everybody know, hey, if you liked Rebel before, you're going to really love it now because of this. Anyway, the game worked, right? Instead of charging $500 for a bottle of Creed Aventus, I was charging like 50 bucks, right? $50 is awesome. Why is that awesome? $50 is a sweet spot in terms of price points from my experience with all these businesses. If you can get something right around 50 bucks, it is awesome, whether or not it's sunglasses or like whatever. Like $50 is a really good price point. Once you get up there over 100, people start to really having to think about it, all right? The other thing is I knew, okay, well, if I'm gonna be selling this fragrance for 50 bucks, my sales message is simple. It's be honest. This is what I did. I was sick of spending $500 for Creed Aventus. I wanted to come up with something that I loved that was cheaper. And guess what? The other benefit and reason why this was such a brilliant strategy, if I do say so myself, is that everybody's heard of Creed Aventus. Everybody knew that it smelled incredible. Even if they haven't smelled it, they believe that everybody else and all these fragrance people that were talking about how amazing this fragrance is, they believed that that was a great fragrance. And so it literally took the risk away from people like blind buying it, because if everybody says that this fragrance is sexy and amazing, it's got to be awesome. And so that was one of my hit tricks, right? And so I thought, okay, let me do it again. The problem with the second fragrance that I launched is that it wasn't a high enough perceived value, all right? Hero was the second fragrance. It smelled incredible. It was inspired by Acqua di Gio Profumo, or just Acqua di Gio, honestly, but Profumo was a more powerful, higher price point product. And the problem was that you can go into literally like CVS or Walgreens or a drugstore and buy it for like 70 bucks. And so you can get like the regular Acqua di Gio, or you can buy mine for like 50. So there was a problem because of the price point. It wasn't a high enough perceived value. You got to understand that when it comes to customer experience and the perception of your brand and what you're charging, it's all about perceived value. I wasn't trying to be the super premium luxe fragrance house, Pete and Pedro. I was trying to help guys smell amazing for an incredible price, right? And so I learned my lesson with that one, and Hero, for the record, is about to be killed. We're getting rid of it because, once again, if you got a bunch of inventory on the shelves, you're not going to move it, and it's just dollar bills tied up. And so we're getting rid of a bunch of them. Legend, that one's gone. All right, when I had to order that one, I had to order literally like 10,000 units, and that was during like the whole like pandemic thing. And so it was a nightmare, and it wasn't what I needed to do in terms of the fragrance. And so anyway, long story short, we've been cleaning out fragrances, right? We had King. That was a fragrance inspired by Creed's Green Irish Tweed. I loved it, but it just didn't have the oomph and the power that Rebel had. And the sales mechanism in terms of launching, we really didn't do as good a job with that one as we did with some of these other ones, all right? Rebel, we crushed. Villain, inspired by Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille, was another rock star, and we did really well in terms of the launch of that, all right? And that's something that I'm gonna share with you, kind of the strategy here in a minute, that you guys should definitely listen to and honestly embrace and try if you're gonna be coming out with a brand. One of the big mistakes that a lot of people make is that they will wait to talk about or build hype or start to get people like on an email list, until it's too late. And too late is like when you're ready to like actually start selling, right? You need to do that as soon as you've got an idea. I think you should get renderings made. I think you should have a website built. I think you should start to talk about it and build your social media following and build your social media platforms out. And while you're doing that, you're talking it up. You're talking about, here's the deal. If I was creating a fragrance brand today, here's what I do. Simple. I would create a fragrance YouTube channel. And even if I didn't have the fragrance, because fragrance can be expensive. You see a lot of these people, you know, with all these different fragrances, and I'm like, damn, they spent literally like thousands and thousands of dollars on all these fragrances. I would do it and just have like a, you know, an image of it on the screen. So you could basically go to the store, you could smell it, or you could just watch other people's videos that talk about it and do your version of that. Anyway, I would start a fragrance YouTube channel or Instagram. And I would basically look at Jeremy Fragrance's videos and I would sort them by most popular. And then I would do my version of his videos in terms of like top 10 compliment killers. And they can be different or not the same, you know, fragrances. You can make up your own mind and have your own list. But I would take his content in terms of his topics and reverse sort them so that they're the most like popular, and I would do my version of his most popular videos. I would build my hype, and in every single video, I'd be like, and guys, if you're ready for an amazing fragrance, we're dropping it in X number of months. Make sure to hit that link down below and go sign up. You're gonna love it. The spicy senoritas are gonna freak out. Panties are gonna come flying from across the room. You're gonna smell so damn sexy, right? I would start building the hype. I would start linking it. I would get people on the email list, and I would start building the email list, because that honestly is one of the things that a lot of people don't realize. Your customers, the people that have been to your website, I would also, by the way, possibly do something where I'm giving away a free information guide on 7 mistakes that people make when it comes to fragrance, or how to smell better using fragrance, or the best 10 cheap fragrances on the market, or whatever it is. I would give away something to incentivize them to sign up. Something more even provocative than when you sign up to get on the list, we're gonna sell out super quick, right? You're gonna get a discount, like give them something as well, right? So that they're on your list. It's all about building your audience and building your customer list. Anyway, here's the deal. One of the other mistakes that I made is I came out with too many different fragrances, right? And it's all about the way that you sell it, right? Selling is pretty easy when you've just got one thing, one message, one product. And when I started and launched like Rebel, it was simple, right? It's Rebel, it's the best. Get Rebel, it's awesome. It's Rebel, 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 right? But then it was a Get Rebel, but then I added Hero. All right, and it's Rebel, and then if you don't like that, you should try Hero. And then it was King. It's Rebel, Hero, and King. If you want those, and they're all inspired by X, Y, and Z. And then it was Villain, and then it was Legend, and it was just too much. And so we basically, over the course of the past 2.5 years, or 2 years, have been selling through some of these SKUs and not rebuying, right? King is dead, Hero's about to be dead. When we're done with Legend, that's gonna be dead. Hero and Villain, they are winners. And they're going to be hanging out for a little while. And so anyway, the other reason why I didn't really launch a new fragrance is that I didn't find a fragrance that I absolutely loved. And so we started messing around, and I was talking, I'm like, okay, yeah, I think we do or should possibly come out with a new one if we're going to be getting rid of these, but I just didn't know what, right? And so we had this one fragrance done that was inspired by, you know, a very nice fragrance, and it's expensive, but it was like, I just didn't love it, right? And I got it, I let everybody at the warehouse smell it, I let my wife smell it, and everybody's like, it's okay. And just, it's okay, isn't gonna move the needle. And so what I ended up doing is going back to Neiman Marcus. Neiman Marcus is one of the places where you've got all the premium brands, right? All the expensive fragrances. And so I spent hours in there smelling fragrances, trying different fragrances, and then I smelled one, and as soon as I smelled this, I was done. That's it, game over. I also was like utilizing like some of the other customers, the men and the women that were there shopping. I was running up to them with like sticks of like a fragrance. I'd be like, hey, smell this. Do you like this better or this better? Or do you like this better or this better, right? And so I was annoying, but I wanted to nail the fragrance. And when I found this one, that was it. And so I went to my lab, I said, this is the fragrance that I want. And the fragrance that we are going to be launching, it's called Icon, and I'm going to link to it down below if you guys want to go and sign up to be notified. We're only getting 5,000 units, all right, of this product. And the retail price is going to be right around $50, right? And that's where I'm getting that $250,000 number. And I am going to do everything in my power to literally sell out of this fragrance in a day. Now, the other thing that we're going to do is do limited runs. After this is gone, it's not coming back. All right, we're not going to rebuy it or reorder it, right? And so it's going to build a little bit of the hype and the excitement, and also letting people know, hey, if you don't grab this before it sells out, like, it's not coming back. All right, I'm going to link down below. Go sign up to be notified if you want to be on the list of this. What is it inspired by? None other than Millésime Impériale by Creed. It's in the gold bottle. It is one of the, in my opinion, sexiest, amazing, fresh, light summer fragrances that every dude is going to love. And every spicy senorita that smelled this has said that fragrance is amazing. Now, what wasn't amazing with the original, right, by Creed, is that people were saying that it didn't last long enough. That was the most common negative feedback. Everybody agrees that it smells incredible, but it didn't last long enough. And so I went to my lab. I said, hey, here's the deal. Here's the fragrance. It's inspired by this, but you need to crank it up. You need to make it last longer and project better. This bad boy not only smells unbelievable, it lasts for a long time. And it projects like a rock star. And I am super pumped and I'm excited. And so how are we going to do it? How are we going to sell it? Here's the deal. Same way that I was telling you earlier, right? It's about building the hype. It's about building the excitement. It's about putting it out there on social media, sharing what we've been doing. And that's the other thing, right? You've got to be willing to talk to your customers, right? Let them know, hey, we're coming out with this new fragrance, this new product. It's going to be amazing. I want your feedback. I want you to try it. I want you to test it. Like, engaging with them. And that's the reason why Tiege Hanley exploded, is because before we actually launched, I started a YouTube channel talking about how to build a business and start a brand. And I was sharing things that we were dealing with, sharing mistakes, sharing the good, the bad, and asking for feedback. The day one that we launched Tiege Hanley, 1,000 people signed up for a monthly subscription. Boom, it was like instant. So think about that. If we're charging on average $40, right? A system, right? We did $40,000 in a day. You annualize that, right? Over the month, that's like, or over the year, that's like $500,000 business on day number one. So here's the deal. What we're going to do, we're going to build the hype. We're going to link to it down below. There's going to be a link down below, and we're going to start promoting it. And we're going to start saying, hey, go sign up to be notified when this bad boy drops, because once it's gone, it's going to be gone. And we're going to try to build a big enough email list that on day one, when we drop this, we're going to drop a video, we're going to drop an email, we're going to send SMS text, we're going to blow it up, we're going to hype it up, we're going to blow it up and hype it up prior to launching. As it gets closer, hey guys, it's getting ready. Get ready. Are you on the list? Don't miss this. Don't miss this, because if you do, once we sell out, it's gone. And if you get on the list, I'm also going to give you a sweetener. I'm going to give you a discount so that you can grab this at a better deal than anybody else. Because the truth is, once we get it, once we launch it, it probably is going to sell out in a day or two, possibly, and then that's it. You're out of luck. This fragrance, original price of Millésime Impériale is like $500, $600, $700. We're charging under $50. If you want to smell amazing and get those compliments, hit the link down below and get on the list. And that's it. That's my strategy. And that's how I'm going to attempt to do it. Now, something else I'm going to attempt to do is talk about it with you guys and share the numbers. All right. How many people did we get on the email list? And then how many sales did we make day one of this product? Were we able to sell out and do that $250,000? I don't know. All right. I'm going to try. I don't know that it's going to work, but I don't know that it won't. And we're going to do everything in our power to really rock this launch, all right? Because the deal is, if you can build the hype, if you can build the excitement, you literally can sell out on day one, which brings me to the last point. Is it okay to sell out? The answer is yes. A lot of people don't want to. A lot of people think, oh, if you sell out, it's a bad thing and people can't buy. It is, but the whole launch, hype, launch, sell out like scenario, it's a business model, right? There are people that do this exclusively with the whole like drops, right? And if they miss it or somebody misses it and they can't get it, it builds the hype even more for the next time they get on the list. And so each time your list is growing, and each drop that you make, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so you can also rest assured that you can order a little bit more, or you'll have more historical data that's going to help you make better financial decisions when it comes to ordering inventory. And so anyway, that's the deal. I'm excited, if you can't tell, and hopefully you guys are on the list and join the group, but if not, hey, it's your prerogative. But I just wanted to share kind of the story behind this, also the strategy behind the launch of Icon, the newest fragrance from Pete and Pedro that's going to be dropping later this summer. Guys, if you're interested, hit the link, get on it. If you haven't checked out the White Label Empire, that bad boy is going to be listed and linked down below as well. We would love to see you on the inside and help you build a business and do something amazing.